everyone, this is Chai Tea here with another episode of my From Scratch Ironman series. This series is basically my version of an Ironman and Albion online with a few changes that I deemed fair. I like to call this a softcore Ironman because I interact with other players but with a couple restrictions. You can check out the rules down in the description. If you guys are new to my channel, this is my 8th episode of my series and I post a progress video every week, so please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of the action. In this episode, we start to develop our island as well as kick some butt in some Hellgates, so stay tuned for that. With all that being said, it's tea time. First things first, my city bank was actually completely full, so I decided to start making my island house to store things there instead. This required me to level up my quarry miner as well as go back to Thetford in order to gather some tier 2 fiber. Since I was out of this low level fiber, I wasn't really able to make any of the tier 3 cloth, which means I couldn't make any of the tier 4 cloth and so on. So this is very tedious for me just because I have to go all the way back to Thetford or try and go to the lower tier zones in Fort Sterling. But I ended up traveling to Thetford just so I could gather a little bit faster, but traveling with a bunch of resources is definitely not recommended, so next time I'll definitely just try and gather it near Fort Sterling instead. I don't show every time that I gather in order to save some time for you guys, but let me know if you guys would like to see any of the technical side of making this account so you can kind of confirm that I'm actually gathering all my own resources and playing by the rules. I usually just cut most of it out because it's kind of the boring stuff, so no one likes to see it, but I like to hear what you guys think.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
My house was coming along now that I gathered most of the necessary resources. I didn't really know what level of house I was aiming for, but since I couldn't gather any tier 5 stone yet, I just decided to settle with this. The tier 4 house was a decent size and good enough to store some items and some chests in it for now until I want to upgrade in the future. So I went and crafted 5 tier 4 chests for me to use in my house, and then began to transfer and organize all my stuff from the city chest. As you guys can see, I separated my items between the resources that I use most often, like fiber and wood, between resources like metal, stone, and hide. I did this so it's a little bit easier to see and I can kind of go to the chest that I am using most often.
If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you?
I also had a separate chest for farming supplies and food, which made it easier to travel back and forth from the farming lot so that I could just bank all my stuff easily. And then another chest for artifacts, runes, and anything I was like saving, like Tomes of Insight. I saved a chest in the middle just for, I was thinking either gear sets or a place to dump like loot. After all that, I was pretty bored, so I decided just to go and see if I could solo some blue zone Hellgates. I had my tier 5.1 gear with my tier 5.1 Great Nature stuff on, so I felt pretty confident in this. But this guy actually invited me just as I got to the portals. So we matched up and we managed to actually steamroll most of the matches that we got into. I didn't really think the Great Nature staff would be the best fit for this situation just because it was more for like a solo play and not really like a healing build, but it actually worked out pretty well in our favor. He was using the Camelon mace here, so he dived in most of the time, and after that I would just put my E on him, which would basically keep him at full health while the other team was focusing him down. So that worked out pretty well. We had some pretty decent fights and some other ones that were pretty easy wins. Only died one time throughout this thing, so I think it was pretty successful. But that one death was definitely just because of the mechanics of blue zones, where they could enter the portal again if you died quick enough, and I also had the wrong ability equipped. But I'll just shut up now so you guys can see the montage, and I hope you enjoy. Obviously it was a blue zone Hellgate, which I believed had its loot nerfed, so I didn't get too much loot, but I think the tier 4.3 club I got was worth maybe 150 or something, 150k or something. But I really just wanted to practice more of the PvP side of this build and working on my healing. I definitely plan on doing some full loot Hellgates in the near future though. Lastly, I did go looking for an aspect again, and to my surprise, I actually ended up finding a tier 6 group dungeon map. I wish it was a solo dungeon map, but I'll just have to find a group or maybe just sell it. It was kind of surprising to me because it was just in a hidden treasure location, but I'm not arguing with it. It was a pretty cool find. Well, if you guys made it all here, thank you guys so much for watching, and leave me a comment and like if you guys enjoyed it. I'd appreciate any feedback you guys have, so please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. It helps me out a ton when making these videos come out each week. If you guys would like to see anything particular about this account and making it, just leave me a comment down below. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next tea party.